Hey guys, it's Jade from Bedtime Bookworm and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a Goodreads organization live stream. I do one of these every month. If you haven't seen this before, I have a really complex shelving system and basically I'm just like decluttering my Goodreads shelves. My primary focus for this episode and the episodes I've had so far has been just looking at my want to read shelf because I have a lot of things on it that I don't actually, not that I don't want to read, but that aren't very like high priority. And so I'm kind of prioritizing my want to read shelf because I have a tiered system. I have a video in the description box that explains my Goodreads shelving system, and it's pretty, even though the video is over a year old, it is pretty accurate to what I do. Maybe a couple things have changed, but it'll give you a good idea of how I use my Goodreads shelves. Let's see. I have the chat set up, so if you're joining me live, feel free to chime in with any of your opinions on these books, whether or not you have read them or if you've heard good things about them. I always like hearing other people's opinions, or if you're watching this on replay, feel free to leave that kind of stuff in the comments as well. Oh, hi, Boundless Book Owl, thank you. I really like my haircut too. I just cut it for my birthday a few weeks ago. It's a big change. My hair had been long for a couple of years, but before that I had kept it short for a while, so it's just kind of like going back to what I used to have, which is really nice. But thank you. Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. Let me share my Goodreads. So these are what I'm currently reading right now. I actually have a fourth book that you can't see, but these two are the ones that I'm hoping to finish by the end of the month. Oh, my reading this month has been all over the place. The first half of the month, it was really good, and the second half of the month has not been so great, but I'm hoping to still finish 2 more books before the end. Hey, Leanne, I miss you too. Oh, thank you, belated birthday. Anya Allborn book, it's just okay. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it. It's kind of boring, honestly. I'm like more than halfway through it and not a whole lot has happened. So we'll see how the end goes, but it's pretty like mediocre so far. Really want to start reading a Stephen King book. Yeah, this is my second Stephen King book to read. So I'm liking it a lot better than the first one. The first Stephen King book I read was a couple of years ago, and it was, what was the name of it? It was Salem's Lot. And a lot of people really like Salem's Lot, but I am not one of them. I thought that book was really boring. Yes, this is my second Anya Allborn. The first book I read, what was it called? I read it just a couple of months ago, and it was one of her novellas. Oh, I'm sorry, Leanne. I know Salem's Lot is a lot of people's favorites, and I gave it 2 stars. I didn't like it. But, I mean, a lot of people really like it, so I'm definitely the odd one out there. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying the Diviners series, Boundless Book Owl. I read the first Diviners book, and it was just okay. I just gave it 3 stars. I didn't like it enough to continue. Hey, Rachel, I'm glad you could join. Okay, let's get going. I'm going to pull up my want to read shelf. I think the last one of these that I did, I got my shelf down pretty low. It's under 200, and my goal, if you guys haven't watched one of these before, is to get my want to read shelf under 100 books. So I've made a lot of progress. Sorry, one of my dogs is trying to get in the room. So I've made a lot of progress. It's under 200 now, so we'll see if I can get it further. I mean, we are going to get it further today. Hey, Drew, thanks for joining us. We are just getting started. Hello, Bookish Poet. All right. Let's see. Okay, I want to look at these by date added. Okay, And I am going to change this from Infinite Scroll. Someone was telling me that they never use, like the last time I did this, that they never use Infinite Scroll because like it's just really buggy. And it's true. I've definitely noticed it being buggy. So maybe we'll switch away from the Infinite Scroll. And we're just going through these books from the oldest that I added them to like the newest. So these that I'm scrolling through are ones that we've already gone through in previous episodes. Oh, you thought A Monster Calls was boring? Did it make you cry? It's supposed to be so sad. Have we done these? I know I did these. And the thing is when I was using the Infinite Scroll, what happens is it like will skip chunks of books. I'm pretty sure I've already looked at these. I hear it's really sad. These aren't really looking familiar. No, we did these. Where were we? Okay. Here are books that I don't recognize. Oh, and they don't have. Okay. I think we stopped around here. Okay, this looks like historical fiction. Ooh, look at this rating bar. It's mostly 5 stars. Regiment in the Red Army. About a woman's sacrifice, courage, and love in a time of war. That sounds pretty good. Ooh, it's on Kindle Unlimited. Historical fiction. Oh, Roya gave it 4.5 stars. Okay, not a lot of people have read it. At least out of my friends. Okay, so not a whole lot to go off of. It's got mostly 5 stars, 9,000 ratings. That's a decent amount of ratings to have mostly 5 stars. I do love World War II stories. I think this is a maybe, just because I don't really know, like I haven't heard a lot about it, but it is really interesting. And it is mostly 5 stars. It is historical fiction. That's probably it. Yeah, you can't always trust the ratings on Goodreads. But I just use that as like kind of a rough guide, like, oh, a lot of people like this or something. Okay, The Great Alone. I definitely want to read this. I have read one Kristen Hanna before, and it was The Nightingale. So good. That's a World War II historical fiction. I really loved it. This one I've heard more mixed things about, but I at least want to read it and see for myself. But let's see. This needs to be marked as historical fiction and mostly 5 stars. I own this? I must own it not physically. It's not a good sign when it's marked as I own it and I don't remember. I must have, I think I picked up the ebook on a sale or something. Yes, The Nightingale is so good. Oh, Boundless Book Owl. I hope you really like it. You should let me know what you think. I'm not to overhype it or anything, but I didn't know anything about it before going in, and I loved it so much. Oh yeah, you're gonna read The Nightingale too, Bookish Poet? Cool. I hope you guys like it because I loved it a lot. Okay, The Poet X. This is one I've heard a lot about. I feel like it's something that like I should read just so I could be part of the conversation, but it's also not really like my genre, which is always a little bit of a hard thing for me. Oh, so many people have loved it. I'm going to put it on my probably shelf. I'm just not like itching to read it anytime soon. Although this author, I think, I have heard I need to listen to this on audio if I read it. So let me mark it as audio. Yeah, that's what I heard. It's so good. Yeah. See, a lot of people have said that I should read this, even though it's not my genre. Yes, that's what I heard. I think the author herself narrates it. Is that right? Or at least like there's like slam poetry in the book, so you get to like hear it being performed, which is pretty cool. Mostly 5 stars. Cool. Okay, cool. This book does not sound familiar at all. How did it get on my want to read shelf? This is why we're doing this, because I have books on my want to read shelf that I don't even know how they got there. Family Crisis. District Attorney. So what is the genre? Like mystery thriller? Okay. Oh, it's won a bunch of awards. That's always promising. Oh, Rachel, you read this. 3.5 stars. Okay, Karen gave it 4 stars. Kelly gave it 4 stars. Okay, not a lot of my friends have read it. I think this is just a maybe. My maybe shelf is going to be so huge, but that's okay. I don't mind. Pretty dry. Okay. What am I doing? It's 4 stars. Okay, so I just need to put the genre on here. Cool. The Lake House. So I like reading historical fiction. I don't read it that often, but I hear Kate Morton is like a really good historical fiction author and that I should read her. So I haven't read any Kate Morton. I'm pretty sure I have a bunch of Kate Morton on my like want to read list because I've just heard a lot about her and I don't really know where to start with her either. So if anybody has Kate Morton experience, I would love to hear what you think. I think she has one book that is supposed to be a little bit like haunting or spooky, and I'm thinking to start with that one, but I don't remember the title of it off the top of my head. I have not read Jacoby, but I've heard of it. I must have heard of this book from April. She's a big Kate Morton fan. Yeah, not a lot of my friends have read it. I'm going to put it on maybe for now. And then I want to do some more research about where to start with Kate Morton. And then once I've tried one of her books, I might move up, her other books onto my probably shelf. Historical fiction. Okay. Flowers for Algernon. Believe it or not, I've never read this book. But I've heard so much about it. It's like middle grade, isn't it? Oh, it's not middle grade, it's young adult. I can't decide if this is a want to read or a probably want to read. I feel like it's a classic and I feel like I should read it. I think it's a probably. I definitely think that I would find it interesting. It's just I have so many other things that I like want to read more than this one. Is it science fiction? Yeah. Okay. The Humans by Matt Hague, who is an author I also have never read, but I've heard a lot about. Science fiction. This is about an alien, right? Oh, yeah. Alien imposter. I think this is probably. Oh, look at all these high ratings from people that I follow. Okay. Okay. And it's not mostly 5 stars, but it's pretty darn close. Lots of high ratings. Saving Mason. This is a book by a self-published author named Natalie Cuddington. She's actually a booktuber, author-tuber, and I own this book, and I definitely want to read it. Is it on my owned TBR? Yep, perfect. I can mark it. I added a couple of theme shelves since my last time I did this. I'm pretty sure the zombies one is new and the retelling one is new. I think I just had time travel / alternate realities before. And a theme shelf, I mean, that's really not the best name for them, but basically it's just like an element in books that I enjoy, like if it's a retelling or if it has zombies, things like that. But this is supposed to be a book set in the zombie apocalypse, but it's supposed to feel more like a contemporary book. So I want to read more zombie books, and I picked this one up on Kindle. So I'm hoping to read it at some point. And I've heard Natalie, I think she has a couple of videos where she reads excerpts or the first chapter or two from the book. And I really liked that excerpt that she read in that video, and that's what made me want to buy it. Okay, let's talk about Love. This book I've heard a lot about because of the asexual main character, but I really don't know anything other than that. I just remember a lot of people were talking about it when it came out. It's definitely not staying on my want to read shelf. It's just a matter of what other shelf I want to put it on. It's just not really my genre. Young adult contemporary romance, you know. So many people were talking about it, I had to put it on my list somewhere. Hmm. That's going on my maybe shelf. I'm really not super interested in it. Contemporary. Empress of All Seasons. This is a standalone. This is a a YA fantasy that has like an Asian inspiration. Yeah, yokai. And guys, I've been craving some fantasy lately. I've been reading a lot of like mystery thriller or horror things set in the real world lately, and I have been missing some fantasy. What have other people said about this? Oh, pretty good reviews for the most part. Yeah, I think this is staying on my want to read shelf. I'm pretty interested in reading this. And it's a standalone fantasy, which doesn't happen very often. Oh, but those ratings, they're not great, but they're not terrible. Want to read or probably want to read? I think want to read. Oh, she has another book. This came out before. Yeah, I want to read this. I have read The Last Magician and I really, really liked it. Definitely recommend. I haven't continued on in the series because I'm waiting for the last book to come out, but it was one of my favorite books from 2017. I gave it 5 stars. Am I going to read Nevernight anytime soon? Not anytime soon, as in before the end of the year. I think I might read it next year, sometime next year, which is obviously a long time away. But I'm definitely not starting any more. Well, I don't want to say definitely, but I don't plan to start any new series this year because I'm just trying to wrap up a few and just continue on in some that I'm reading. The Last Magician is not a duology. It's a trilogy. The last book is coming out next summer. They just had a cover reveal and everything too. Sorry, go back to Nevernight. I don't plan to start any new series this year, just trying to finish up ones that I'm currently reading and everything. But that is a series that I want to start, so I'm thinking I might start it next year. Although I have heard that the last book, I've heard a lot of mixed things about the last book in that trilogy. I don't know if you've already read it, Drew. But some people really liked it, and some people really didn't like the way that it ended. So it makes me a little bit nervous to pick it up. Okay, The Woman in the Castle. I own this book. I got it at like a library book sale. So, oh, you're going to finish the second Nevernight book tonight. Awesome. That's really cool. I hope you like the last book. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people have liked it, but a lot of people have also not liked it. I have not read the Arc of the Scythe series. That is also on my list of series that I want to start. I hope I can read it next year. It definitely sounds like up my alley, and I've been wanting to read Neil Shusterman for like forever. I've seen him speak a couple times at book events, and he seems like really cool. Okay, end of World War II, crumbling Bavarian castle. Okay, this is a very long synopsis, but oh. Written with the devastating emotional power of the Nightingale, Sarah's Key, and The Light Between Oceans, which I've only read The Nightingale, but Sarah's Key, I don't know if it's actually on my TBR, but I've heard of it. The Light Between Oceans is definitely on my TBR. We'll have to look at those in a minute. I actually have read the first book in the Lotus War series, and I thought it was just okay. I didn't love it, so I decided not to continue on in that series. I'm not really sure if Jay Kristoff is like, his writing style is for me. I mean, I've enjoyed some of his, he's been a little hit or miss, so that's why I'm kind of nervous about Nevernight. Yeah, this is staying on my want to read shelf. Let's see, historical fiction. Cool. Educated. This is also, do I want it on my want to read shelf or my probably shelf? I think probably. I believe she narrates her own audiobook, so I'm going to click that. And then this is going to be nonfiction. and mostly 5 stars. I've heard mostly good things about this one, but I've also heard some mixed things about it. And I've also already read, I mean, it's different, but a lot of times they get talked about together. But I've read, oh, shoot. Of course, I'm blanking on the name. There's another book by Jeanette Walls that is very, like, not very similar, but a little bit similar, and a lot of people talk about them together. And I really liked that one. And I don't know, I kind of worry about reading something that's, like, so similar, and then I'm going to, like, constantly be comparing them. So we'll see. The Glass Castle, yes, that's it, Leanne. I know it's not exactly the same. The main, like, criticism I've heard about Educated is that I've heard a couple of people say that they, like, think it's not realistic, or, I mean, it's supposed to be a true story, right? But they think that, like, they don't believe her completely, I guess. I don't know. Oh, you hadn't heard them. I've heard them talked about together a lot. I also loved The Glass Castle a lot. Yeah, I mean, most people love this book. Oh, someone DNF'd it. Robin. Yeah. Okay. I think that's done. Okay, I have no idea what this is. Okay, World War II. Ooh, A Huge Family Secret. Historical fiction, middle grade. Why is this on my TBR? I don't hardly know anybody that's read it. Well, that's interesting. Definitely going down to the maybe shelf. And historical fiction. Oh, I marked it as middle grade. So I must have heard someone talk about it in a middle grade video. I really like middle grade, and I haven't been reading it for years. I really need to get back into it. There's a bunch of, like, middle grade fantasy series that I've been wanting to read, but I haven't let myself because I have a problem with series. As in, I'm reading too many of them, not as in I don't like to read series. I like to read series. Okay, the upstairs room. Okay. Oh, horror, mystery, paranormal. I haven't read Nevermore. That is one of the middle grade series that I've been wanting to read. All right, I don't know anybody who's read this book, so it's going to go on my maybe shelf. It sounds intriguing. So many books, not enough time to read them all. Okay, this is staying on my want to read shelf. It's a sequel that I am interested in reading. It's actually a companion book, more so than a direct sequel. But yeah, let's see, who else has read this? I know Bethany has. Okay, Austin, Andy. Jean only gave it 3 stars. Okay, I knew Bethany really liked it. Okay. Yeah. I don't know when I'll get to this, but it's staying on my want to read. The Poppy War. I definitely want to read this. Usually this would be on, like, I have a shelf for series. Should I put this on my series shelf? I own this one, so it's kind of like a little bit higher priority than, right? I own this one, yep. I think I want to keep it on my want to read shelf because a lot of times I don't look at my series shelf very closely because I'm trying not to start series. But this one would be an exception because it's a book I already own. It is unfinished though. The series, I mean. Let's see, reading. I know the second one just came out, but I believe there's going to be a third one. Hold on. Yeah, we don't know when it's coming out. I'm going to keep it on my want to read shelf, even though most likely I'm going to want to wait until this last book is out, or at least close to coming out, to start the series. I like that your hopefully fairly soon is also probably next year, because that's how I feel too. The year is just already almost over. Okay, let's just make sure it's shelved as like fantasy. Yep, owned. Okay, so this one's good. I have been wanting to try some Renee Denfeld. She's on my TBR, like my actual fall TBR. I have, what was that book called? Oh gosh, I'm totally blanking. It's like over there. Oh, The Child Finder was really good. One of your favorite books this year. Interesting. Wait, why does this say TBR probably? I thought this was on my want to read shelf. That's very strange. Do I have 2 editions of this on my shelf, maybe? Hold on. That's very strange. Where's the... Yes, I do have 2 of these on my shelf. Okay, so at some point I thought it was probably... which one is it? Honestly, I'm going to put it as probably. Like, I think I'm probably going to read it. I mean, obviously I just said the word probably. I have another book of hers on my TBR that I'm planning to read sooner. So maybe I'll like read that one, and if I, for some reason, hate it, then I won't read The Child Finder, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to read it. Actually, let's go through these duplicates real quick. A lot of times I get duplicates because I like sign up for Goodreads giveaways. Which is what happened here. And then these other ones that I'm kind of skipping over are ones that whenever I reread something, I always add a different edition. Like, I know that they added a reread counter like ability to Goodreads, but I just don't trust it. I prefer having just like using different editions as my way to like mark rereads. But this was a giveaway. This is also a giveaway. Oh, like a physical giveaway? I have only won, I think, one giveaway, and it was an ebook giveaway. I've never won a physical one before from Goodreads. Oh, goodness. Do I want to read this one, or is it a probably? I feel like I want to read it. I wish there were dates for like when I put these on. Oh, I don't remember. I think it's probably, well, hold on. Oh, maybe that one is more recent because it's got all those other things checked. Oh, so does this one. I think I want to read. Yeah, I've heard really good things about I'll Be Gone in the Dark. I'm trying to get my book club to read it at my work book club, but they haven't been too interested yet. I do believe I put that on probably. Wait, hold on, let's check, like. They're the same. Shoot. Okay. I think, oh, did I just mark it as read? Or was it already marked as read? I definitely haven't read it. Yeah, these are all like Goodreads giveaways that I entered, and then it adds it. I hate that it automatically adds it to your want to read shelf. What I don't know is like if my name somehow gets picked for one of these giveaways, and the book is like not on my actual want to read shelf anymore. Does that mean I can't win the book? Probably. You didn't like In the Woods, really? I have no opinion. Obviously, I haven't read it yet. Oh, but Rachel liked it. Okay, let's go back to my books. Okay, so I think I already handled that. Oh, you can see me hating the ending. That's very intriguing. Makes me want to read it just to know what the ending is. Where were we? Let's see, Blood of Elves. Where are you? I thought I opened this one. Maybe I didn't. Okay, we're down here. Cool. Blood of Elves. This is staying on my shelf. I need to read it like soon. Probably not before the end of the year, but maybe by the, I don't know. I've only got a couple months left before the end of the year. But I definitely want to read this. Who else has read this? Okay. Doesn't really matter what other people think because I'm definitely going to read it. Fantasy. Okay. This one's good to go. Oh, I definitely want to read this. Rachel, I actually heard about this one, I think from you on the podcast. I know I heard about it on the podcast. Pretty sure you're the one who talked about it. But it's a vampire novel, but also about genetics. Sounds really great. And I have not read any Octavia Butler, but I want to. So this is definitely staying on this list. Oh yeah, you gave it 4 stars. Some mixed opinions down there. I'll just have to see what I think. Horror, sci-fi. I should make a vampire theme. Let's do that. And I know vampires aren't a theme. It's just like, I don't know what else to call it. Yeah, I don't know how else to like clump together these things. Like I want the first word to be the same, so they're all in the same place on my list. And then like the second bit be like the different things. Okay. Cool. I might read this one next. I don't know. I might read it before then. But if I don't get to it before then, I think I might read this one next fall as part of like you know, being fall themed. But this one I definitely want to read. It sounds really good. Okay, The Water Cure. This sounds vaguely familiar. I feel like somebody talked about it in a way that I was like, whoa, I definitely want to read that. But of course, I don't remember who that was, and at this point, I don't remember what they said. Dystopian. It was a Booker long list. That's interesting. It's usually not my kind of books that I pick up. Okay. Kind of mediocre ratings from people I follow, and it's on a lot of people's TBRs. A lot of people's TBRs. Feminist dystopia. Maybe. Definitely not want to read. Ooh, it's got mostly 3-star ratings. Okay, maybe. Dystopian. And it fails my reading test. My rating test, I mean. Cool. Okay, these I'm pretty sure I'm keeping. It looks like I might have already looked at, yeah, I've already looked at these before. Just those 3 though. Okay, it's probably because, hold on. Did I not add this to other shelves? I need to make sure I add that to a fantasy shelf. Okay, I'm just scrolling real quick because I feel like, you know, like I was saying that when I have it on infinite scroll, it would like skip books, and I feel like that's kind of what happened because these 3 I'm pretty sure I looked at previously. Anyways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then this one, I just want to make sure I put it on my fantasy shelf. Okay, The Power by Naomi Alderman. Has anybody read this? I think this is a probably for me. I want to read it. I just don't know how soon. Oh, want to read or probably? That is the question. Kind of think it's going to stay on want to read. I do think it would make a really good book club book. Is this marked as book club? Nope. I'm going to mark it as book club. I'm pretty sure it's already been suggested to my book club and it didn't get picked. But I think this is staying on want to read. Okay. I have no idea what this is. It has mostly 5 stars. Fiction, feminism, contemporary. Not really my kind of thing. And none of my friends have read it. Okay. This is a maybe. Sometimes I think I should make, I'm laughing at myself. Sometimes I think I should make a probably not shelf, but that's probably going a little bit too far. And I'm sure some people are like, if you're probably not going to read it, why is it on your Goodreads? I like to have books on my Goodreads as a way of being like, oh, I heard about this from somewhere, from somebody. Obviously, I don't always remember from where or who, because I have no idea how this ended up on my shelf. But I just like to kind of keep a record of books that like have been talked about, that I've stumbled across at some point, just so that I know that like, oh, I've actually heard of that book before, even if I don't remember that I've heard of it. I don't know if that makes any sort of sense. But yeah, sometimes I think I want to make a probably not shelf for books like this, where it's like, oh, this isn't really something that I would ever pick up, but I also still want to be like, I know that somebody has talked about that where I could hear before, which I think is a weird thing, but that's how I feel. Yeah. Yeah, the title's not great. I know, right? I don't know. Okay. I already put it on the maybe shelf, but it has mostly 5 stars. I mean, 3,000 ratings isn't a ton of ratings, but it's a good amount. Okay, Brown Girl Dreaming is another, like, I don't know if it's really a classic, but no, it's from 2014. It's definitely not a classic. But this is one that I've heard a lot about, and it's like a book I feel like I should read, but I haven't. Is it historical fiction? Poetry? I don't think I knew this was poetry. Also, hi, Katie. I saw your message, but I didn't say hi to you. Thanks for joining us. So it's historical fiction. I didn't realize it was written in verse. Okay. This is a probably book. Historical fiction, right? No, memoir. It's not fiction. It's nonfiction. Did not know that. I don't know how to, like, I guess nonfiction? I should have like a poetry genre, but I just don't have a lot of books that I would consider poetry anyways. Okay. I think that's good. Anger is a Gift. So many people were talking about this book this year, saying it was like one of the best books, or I guess it was last year, 2018, but saying it was like one of the best books that they had ever read. I know it's contemporary. Okay, LGBT fiction. See, one of the best YA books I have ever read. Nope, Sylvia didn't like it. This is between maybe and probably. Just because it's not really my genre. But like, there's so many books that are contemporaries that people love, and I feel like I should try them, but I just never end up, when I'm like making my TBRs and looking at all the other books I want to read, I never end up prioritizing them because it's just not what I gravitate towards. I think if I'm being honest with myself, it's a maybe. And maybe it'll move up to probably at some point. But I think right now, it's a maybe. This one. This is like a literary fiction book that I honestly don't think I'm going to read. I don't think I realized it was a memoir. Oh, yes, I did. I know what this is about. or I remember April talking about this book. A lot of people liked it. Yeah, I have heard it's supposed to be good. I think she has a miscarriage or something. Maybe not. It's not mentioned in the synopsis. Hi, Jamie. Thanks for joining us. Maybe, probably, maybe. Nonfiction, because it's a memoir. Okay. I don't recognize this book at all. The Problem with Goats and Sheep. Is this another memoir? No. Historical fiction. Okay, so what is it about? Coming of age story? Oh, so a girl goes missing. Does sound interesting, but it's a maybe. Swan Song. I feel like I recently heard about this. This is a horror, isn't it? Yes. I feel like it's like a classic horror that I've heard about, but I don't know what it's about. Oh, this is like survival or post-apocalyptic. Yeah, post-apocalyptic. I feel like I heard about this from Stephanie. Wow, that's a lot of 5 stars in a row. I think this is a probably. Want to read. Probably. Want to. Probably. It's on Prime Reading, though. I currently have Kindle Unlimited. Oh, thanks, Jamie. I'm glad that you find it inspiring. I know it's a little like intense and overkill for most people. I mean, honestly, it's probably overkill for me because I don't keep up with it the way that I should, but I really enjoy like having a really detailed system. So I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. All right, cool. Probably it is. I've heard a lot about the author Louise O'Neill, but I don't actually know what this book is about. Adult contemporary fiction. Oh, she falls in love with a man 20 years older than her. Toxic relationship. That sounds like really heavy stuff. I think it's going on my maybe shelf. And another book I don't recognize at all. Nazi-occupied France. Okay, you've got my attention. Oh, you know what? Do I have a shelf for Kindle Unlimited? Yes. Dang it. I've had a few books that we looked at today that were Kindle Unlimited and I didn't mark them. Granted, I know Kindle Unlimited options change from time to time, but it's nice to know that it is or was a Kindle Unlimited option at some point. Oh, I bet I heard about this from Aoife. I'm going to put it on maybe. And historical fiction. I don't know anything about this book. It was a National Book Award nominee. Okay. Oh, it was one of the BookNet Fest books. Oh, Deshauna really liked it. I still think it's going to be a maybe, just because it's just not a genre I really pick up that often. Well, I mean, I guess technically it's historical fiction, but it's a little like contemporary-ish too. Well, what year is it set in? Oh, it's got 3 generations, so I don't know. I'll do both of these. It sounds like it would be a good book for book club. Deshauna liked it. It's a keeper. Yeah. I don't know. She and I don't always have the same taste in books, but she does like some good stuff. Cool. Why is that book on my TBR? I'll let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm trying to do 10 at a time. Oh my gosh, we're already an hour in. Time just flies when I'm doing this. I'll probably be going about another hour, just for people who are wondering or watching. Well, if you're watching on replay, you probably know that I'm going another hour because it has the total time at the bottom. Okay, this sounds like a thriller. Nobody's read it. Maybe thriller. And yeah. Cool. This is how it always is. I am currently reading 4 different books, which is way too many. I am going to try and finish 1 or 2 of them before the end of the month. So my 2 priority books that I'm reading right now are, Pet Sematary by Stephen King. That's my number 1 priority. I'm going to try really hard to finish that before the end of the month. And then my other priority is another horror book, just because it's October. And that is If You See Her by Anya Alderman. And then the other 2 books that I'm reading that I have no chance of finishing include Hex by Thomas Old Huvelt, which is another horror book, and Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I keep like looking in the corner down here. That's because that's where the chat is. But I should be looking at the camera when I'm talking to you. But yeah, I'm also reading Ninth House, but both of those books I'm like 20 to 30% through, and there's no way I'm going to finish them before the month is over. Okay, this one I'm pretty sure I want to read. My friend Katie, Girl About Library, really enjoyed this book. See, she gave it 5 stars. A lot of other people have really liked this too. It's going to be probably. It's mostly 5 stars. Last Time I Lied. I definitely want to read this book. I read my first Riley Sager earlier this month and I loved it. And I really like. Oh, hi, Deanna. You're listening to it right now? That's awesome. I loved my first Riley Sager. I read Lock Every Door. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Lock Every Door. So I definitely want to read this because I enjoyed that one a lot. Spoiler alert, I gave it 5 stars. And I think that the camp setting is really going to work for me. Who else has read this? Lala. Ooh, Emma only gave it. Ooh, those are not great ratings. Okay. Okay. Not a lot of people have loved it so far. Okay, these people have given it 4 stars. It doesn't matter. I want to read it. I don't even need to look. Want to read, okay, horror, mystery thriller, perfect. Cool. Moving on. Yes, Lock Every Door was awesome. And I'm thinking of ending things. I definitely want to read it just to see for myself what I think about it. This is another horror thriller book. I know it's got a bunch of mixed ratings, but it's one of Rachel's favorites. So that's why I need to read it for myself, even though I might not like it. Yeah, a lot of people have enjoyed it. Okay. Want to read. Cool. Not anything that needs to be done there. This one I also am keeping on my want to read shelf because it's a sequel to a series. And it's mostly 5 stars. Not that many people have rated it though. Okay, cool. Okay, so I don't know why this is on my shelf because I usually only put one book in a series on my shelf at a time. And the next one up is Blood of Elves. So why is this one on my shelf? I don't know, but I think I should delete it. Okay, delete. It'll get added back eventually, just after I read this 3rd book in the series. The numbering's all off, but this is the next book that I need to read. Okay, 1,000 Perfect Notes. This is a contemporary that I've heard is really good, and it's by someone that I know from, not know, but follow on book Twitter, C.G. Drews. And I've just heard such good things about her books, but they're contemporary, so I just never really picked them up. But this is going to go on my probably shelf. Contemporary and mostly 5 stars. Reaper at the Gates, definitely staying on my want to read shelf because this is a series that I have really enjoyed so far. I don't even need to look and see other people's reviews because I know that it's staying here. Audiobook. Do I have recommendations for a contemporary genre that doesn't focus on sex? So I don't read a lot of contemporary, so like the pool of books for me to pick from is small. But one that doesn't have like a romance plotline at all would be Saving Francesca by Melina Marchetta, and I loved that book. So definitely recommend that one. It's a YA book. This is fantasy and mostly 5 stars. Undead Girl Gang. I've heard a lot of good things about this, but definitely not staying on my want to read shelf. It's going on my probably. I don't know how to categorize this. Young adult. Fantasy. I'm going to put it under like mystery thriller. Shutter Island. I have seen the movie for this and I really enjoyed it. And I've heard that the book is good, but obviously I haven't read it. Okay. What a mindfuck. That sounds good. I think I would have liked this more if I hadn't watched the movie first. I have seen the movie, but it's been a very long time since I've seen the movie. Oh, wow. That's a lot of 5 stars. Okay, this is staying on my want to read shelf. Want to read horror. Cool. Hello, Bree. Thanks for joining us. Oh, look, I'm down to 164. That means I'm probably going to get it under 150 before the end of this video, which is very exciting. It's so cool to like scroll down this list and be like recognize every book that I see and be like, I definitely want to read that. Like, what a good feeling. Okay. We were around here. All right. Sadie. $11.22.63. It's amazing. I've heard good things about it. It's definitely one of the Stephen Kings I wanted. Excuse me. I just had dinner a little bit ago. I keep burping. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I want to read Sadie too. I would like to get my want to read down to 100 books. Okay, this one's definitely want to read, and I need to make sure audiobook is marked. Yeah, I've heard good things about this one too. Is it mostly 5 stars? Not quite. But yeah, a lot of people really liked it. 4 stars, 5 stars, 4 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. top 5 best books I've ever read. Yeah, I definitely want to read this. I didn't check the genre shelf. This one. Yeah, I definitely want to try it on audio. An Unkindness of Magicians. This is now an unfinished series, isn't it? It was originally a standalone. That makes this easy because I can just put it on my unfinished series shelf. I don't have to think about it. I know, I added this because of Murphy too. She loves this book, and I feel like at least one other person really, really likes it. I actually don't know that much about it though. Urban fantasy. Yeah, there's some mixed reviews, but some good stuff in there. Just will have to see for myself, but I'm not going to think about it until the series is completed. Okay, this is staying on my want to read shelf. Why? It's a third. Oh, I think I own this one, don't I? No. I haven't read the second book in the series, so I don't usually put books that are further. Oh, you know what? I think I put these on my TBR even though I don't own them. Sometimes, okay, I don't usually put sequels on my TBR other than like the next one in the series that I need to read. But I know I've made exceptions for that when I own the books already, but I don't own these. But I think that maybe I did it because you technically don't have to read them in order, but I plan to read them in order. So, like, I think I want to delete these off my shelf so that I just have After Atlas. Because I own After Atlas and Planetfall, but I don't own the rest of these. Oh, Jade, why did you do this? I also want to get rid of Atlas alone. Yeah, I did that earlier this year. That's weird. Moody Bookworm. I don't always have the self-control to wait either. I just try to, and by putting books on like a different shelf helps me try to like forget about them. And there are plenty of series that I've started that are not completed, but I'm in the middle of so many right now. I'm trying to prioritize completed series and just avoid unfinished series. But I do start unfinished series even though I try not to. Okay. So that one's good. The Saturday Night Ghost Club. I don't recognize this book at all. Bittersweet coming of age story in the vein of Stranger Things and Stand By Me. That sounds pretty cool. It's horror. Must have heard about it from Rachel. All right. This is a maybe. Cool. Oh, this is a nonfiction. I remember hearing about this. It sounded kind of terrifying because it's about like infectious diseases. Science nonfiction. This would be a good book club book for my coworkers and I. TBR, probably. Book club option. Nonfiction and mostly 5 stars. This is right up your alley, Jamie. It sounds fascinating, but also terrifying. The Conjoined. Remember the pair of foster children who lived with the family. Mystery thriller. Maybe. The ratings don't look great. TBR, maybe. Horror, mystery thriller, and failed rating test. I don't think enjoying books about serial killers and diseases is weird, because I feel the same way. Bright as Heaven. I don't recognize this at all. Looks like it's historical fiction. Oh, the Spanish flu. Compelling story of a mother and her daughters who find themselves in a harsh world, not of their making, which will either crush their resolve to survive or purify it. Not many of my friends have actually read it. That's a maybe. I don't read enough true crime. Oh man, it is pouring outside. We're finally starting to get some fall weather here. It was like in the 50s today. So that was really nice. We actually had to turn our heater on. Oh, A Little Stranger. Definitely want to read this. I haven't read any Sarah Waters before. I think this is the one that I want to be my first Sarah Waters. It's supposed to be a little bit creepy. Gothic, yeah. Looks like I already have it shelved where I need it to be. But yeah, I definitely want to read this. Yes, the weather turned just in time for Halloween. The ratings aren't like as good as I expected just because I've heard so much about this book. I do think it's like kind of slow. Okay. Mystic River. Another Dennis Lehane. I think I'm going to put this on probably. Like, I think I will start with... Oh, Samantha Leanne read this. I think I want to read the other one that we just looked at, Shutter Island. I think I want to read that one first, and then if I like it, maybe I'll read this one. Hey, Myths and Mayhem. We still got time. Probably be going for another 40 minutes, so you're a little late, but no big deal. But thanks for coming. Mystic River. I'm going to put this on probably. Maybe. Probably. Sometimes I know what shelf I need to put something on because I'll put it on a different shelf and then I'll have like a gut reaction like, no, that's not the right shelf, and then I change it. Put this here and mostly 5 stars, and we're good. I don't recognize this book at all. Brutally Stabbed to Death. twists and turns. Okay, sounds interesting. No, Rachel gave it 4 stars. Oh, Katie gave it 5. April gave it 4. That sounds promising. I think I'm going to put this on probably, even though I don't really remember hearing about this, but it sounds good. People I know have said that it was good. I think I'm putting it on probably. Cool. All right. Rachel, I'm making you reconsider your ratings. That's funny. Hi, Reed reads. I only pretend to be organized. That's why I do these Goodreads organization live streams, because I'm not organized and I need to be organized. Not need to be, want to be. I'm glad, Deanna. I mean, a complex shelving system really doesn't work if you don't like keep up with it, and I don't. But that's why I do these every month, so that, you know, it gives me an opportunity to sit down and kind of go through some things. I've been better about, like, when I first add things to my shelf, not adding it to my want to read right away. But yeah, I definitely don't actually use my shelves the way they're supposed to be used. But I try to be organized. It's like the idea of being organized is like really appealing to me, but I don't always follow through. Okay, The 13th Tale by Diane Satterfield I've heard so much about, and I'm pretty sure I want to read it. Hey Cami, thanks for joining us. Oh, it's on Kindle Unlimited. Cool. Okay, who has read this? Teresa gave it 4.5 stars. Jamie gave it 4 stars, 5 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. See, a lot of people have really loved this book. Oh, Karen didn't really like it. Interesting. Okay. I think this is a probably, just because I've heard so much about it. It's also like it's supposed to be kind of meta. It's like a book about books. I'm glad to hear that, Miss and Mayhem. I have read Station 11. I read it last December, and I think I gave it 3 stars. I was like really enjoying it until the end. I didn't like the way that it ended. I was sad about it. It's historical fiction, right? But my opinion on Station 11 is sort of unpopular. A lot of people really love it. Where Futures End. I really like this cover. How cool is this cover? Is this about like alternate universes? Because I am all over that. 5 teens, 5 futures, 2 worlds, 1 ending. 1 year from now, Dylan develops a sixth sense that allows him to... Oh my god, I'm so all over this. This sounds really good. It has not great ratings. Okay, that was a DNF. 4 stars, 2 stars, 2 stars. Everything about this book sounds like it would be up my alley. All of these 2 stars hurt me. I got excited about it, and now I'm less excited. Oh, well, I hope you like it, Jamie. Most people do, and I did like it. I was loving it until the end, so then I was sad. And so many people like really love it, like 5-star love it, and I just didn't. Man, it sounds like this one's disappointing, even though the premise sounds so good. Oh, she had a bit of a copy and paste snafu here. Yes, alternate reality is also my jam, Jamie. But I'm a little nervous because it doesn't have the greatest reviews. Oh, that's interesting. So this review says this fascinating and unique book contains short stories that are all connected and set in different years in the future. And then this review said it's almost like a collection of short stories. That's what it is. It was a if I could talk, collection, oh my gosh, of short stories. Oh man, this is a hard one. I think I'm gonna put on probably or maybe. Probably or maybe. Hey Jenna, thanks for joining us. Yes, it is frustrating. That's why I'm like nervous to read this one because it has all my buzzwords, but multiple people that I follow have given it 2 stars and said it wasn't great. So it's like, do I just read it anyways? Maybe I will still like it. It's totally possible. Okay, I think I'm gonna put it on maybe. And then I'm going to mark it as failed rating test. But I'm also going to mark it as like time travel alternate realities, just so that like one day when I'm in the mood for that sort of thing. And I think that they're supposed to be short stories, so I'll do that. Oh, and I need to mark it as sci-fi. Maybe one day I'll still read it. If you guys have any like alternate reality book recommendations, definitely tell me because I need to read more of them. This one's definitely staying on my want to read list. Let's just make sure it has science fiction marked. Criminally underappreciated. That's a good way to describe a book. Cool. I've only read the first book in this series, and that's the only Emma Newman that I read, but I really, really liked it. If you're into sci-fi, definitely recommend the series. Well, definitely recommend the first book. That's the only one I've read. Strange Grace by Tessa Gratton. Tessa Gratton is an author that I've been wanting to get into. And I thought that this might be a good place to start, although I don't really know that much about it. Fantasy, standalone. 5 stars, 5 stars, 4 stars. I think this is going to be on my probably shelf. Fantasy. That's good. Queens of Innisleer. This is probably going to be my first Tessa Gratton. And then if I like this, maybe I'll go backwards, which is not usually how I like to do things. I don't like to go backwards, but this is the one that I've heard more about and I'm more interested in reading. So this is definitely staying on my want to read shelf. Do you want to take a peek at other people's ratings? Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be fantasy. And that's it, I think. A Heart in a Body in the World. This book was like really buzzy last year. I know my friend Katie read it and really liked it. Melanie read it. See, a bunch of people give it 5 stars. Well, that's a really pretty picture. Yeah, so many people have given this 5 stars. I actually, even though this is contemporary, I actually think I'm going to keep this on my want to read shelf because that's how interested I am in it. It's about a girl who, after going through some trauma that I don't think you like fully know what it is at first, she goes on a run across the country, and her grandpa follows in his RV and stuff, and it's supposed to be a really like heart-wrenching but good story. And I've just heard so many people talk about it, so it's definitely on my list. Haunted Nights. So I've been wanting to try a Ellen Datlow short story collection. She's like really well known for her short story collection. She does a lot of horror ones, but also other ones. And a lot of them are like themed and stuff. So I put this on my list, but I think this is going to be more on the probably side. I feel like she has other collections that I would be more interested in trying first. But I do want to check out the author list to see what authors I'm interested in and have heard of. So like Kelly Armstrong, I've heard of and would be interested in reading. Seanan McGuire is in this collection. That's promising. So is Jonathan Mayberry. Garth Nix. Okay, some authors in here I'm interested in. Yeah, it does sound like a ghost story collection. 16 never before published chilling tales that explore every aspect of our darkest holiday, Halloween. Yeah, this sounds good. Okay, maybe I'll keep it on want to read. I actually don't know how easy these are to access. I mean, I'm sure I can just buy it on Kindle, but like I don't know if my library would have them or not. His Dark Material series, I read the trilogy when I was like in middle school and really loved it, partially because of the alternate world stuff that was going on. I plan to reread them, but I don't know when. So, probably or want to read. Probably or want to read. I feel like this is a probably. Just because with a short story collection, I have no idea how soon I will pick it up. Probably. Oh, and then I can mark it as short stories. I haven't read a lot of short story collections, but it's something that I want to try to get into a little bit. The Wolf and the Whale. This is definitely staying on my want to read shelf. This is like set in 1000 AD, which I think is like a fascinating time period to have a book. Yeah, it's about a young Inuit shaman and a Viking warrior like falling in love, which I think is really cool. But there's some like magic in it too. Okay, let's see. This is like historical fiction fantasy. Mostly 5 stars. I do own it. I picked it up on like an ebook sale. So hopefully that means I'm reading it sooner than later. Definitely want to read that. Jess from, well, her channel used to be Jess Reads Books, but it's now Jess Nevertheless. She really loved this book and is the one that, like, just after she gushed about it, I was like, that sounds really interesting. So I got it, I put it on my TBR, like my Goodreads TBR at that point, but then I also saw it on sale one time and I picked it up because it was cheap. Okay. I have never read any Trudi Canavan, and I honestly don't really hear people talking about her books, but I'm very interested in trying her books out. So I thought I would start with this one, but I don't know, it's like a 0.5 in the series. I wonder if I should start with a different, maybe, okay, that one came out in 2009, 2010, 2010. So yeah, the first one came out in 2001. Oh yeah, this is a series. Why is it on my main list? Has anybody read any Trudi Canavan? Oh, Diana, you read it. So she got you into fantasy, huh? Have you read this series in particular, The Magician's Guild? Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and delete The Magician's Apprentice because it's a prequel and it was written in 2009, so I don't think that I'm going to start there. I'm going to start with this, probably. Yeah, I'm very interested in possibly reading her books, but I'm going to delete this one. Okay, The Cold is in Her Bones. I definitely want to read this. This sounds really good. I've never read this author before. I'm pretty sure she's a debut author. Oh, you've read Better Since, but you enjoyed them. Well, I at least want to give them a try. I think. We'll see. But this book, oh, the ratings are just okay. But what was it about this that sounded really interesting? I think it might be some sort of retelling. Okay, one girl must uncover secrets of the past to save her friend from a terrible curse in this dark and mesmerizing. Oh yeah, it's a retelling or inspired by Medusa, which is not something that gets a retelling very often. So I think it sounds really interesting, and I just love this cover so much. But the ratings aren't great. Who else has read it? Okay, Bethany only gave it 3 stars. Oh man, I was gonna say that this is definitely staying on my want to read, but now I'm having second thoughts. Okay, this cover is not nearly as cool as the other one. I guess realistically I'm gonna put this on probably, but I do think I'm gonna read this just because I remember feeling very excited when I very first heard about it. Let's do fantasy and also retelling. This cover though, so pretty. In general, I don't like people on covers. I like covers to be more abstract, but I do like illustrated covers a lot, even when they have people on them. Okay. All right. Let's scroll down. We were down here somewhere. Right around here. Okay. Oh, I know what a bunch of these are. These are a bunch of books that I bought at a library book sale, so they're on my want to read shelf because I own them, but I don't know when I'm going to read them. Okay. So I'm thinking that even if I own something, it doesn't mean it has to be on my want to read shelf, because I do have a separate Goodreads shelf that is owned TBR. So I can always go and look at that shelf to prioritize books that I own. I had heard a lot about Ken Follett he has another series that is really popular. This one, the Century Trilogy, at least I think it's that one. Is it this one? I don't know. He's got a series that is really popular. So I bought this book without really knowing that much about it, but it is about a disease outbreak, which is kind of my jam. So, oh yes, Pillars of the Earth. Thank you, Diana. That's the series I was thinking of that he's really popular for, which I haven't read. But anyways, I bought this book at a library book sale. I do think I'm probably going to read it because of what it's about. some virus like escapes. A lab technician bleeding from the eyes. That sounds terrifying. But it doesn't have the greatest ratings. But I'm still going to read it probably. That's why it's going on my probably shelf, because I'm probably going to read it. Would this be like sci-fi, suspense? Okay, I'll put it on my horror thriller shelf. And I own it. Memories Keeper's Daughter. I think this is staying on my want to read shelf. Not only do I own it, it's a book I've been wanting to read for years. When I was in genetic counseling school, this was like a book that was on our, like, not recommended reading, but like books that we could read because it's related to our field, because it's about someone who has a daughter with Down syndrome. I think so he decides he doesn't want the baby after it's born, asks his nurse to take the baby away to an institution, but then that nurse instead like takes the baby for herself and raises her. So, is this considered historical fiction? No. Okay. So it would be a good book club option. Contemporary. Is it mostly 5 stars? Nope. Has anybody else read it? Aoife gave it 4 stars. Alexa gave it 4 stars. Yeah. Cool. Oh wait, was that on my want to or on my own shelf? Yep, it was. This is another one that I picked up at the library book sale. I think it's going on probably. I picked this up because of David Mitchell, because he wrote Cloud Atlas, and the movie adaptation of Cloud Atlas is my favorite movie ever. But I haven't read the book Cloud Atlas, so I really don't know anything about his writing. But I just saw that he wrote it, and I was like, I'll buy it, because the books at this library book sale were so cheap. And that's what always gets me. Oh, Olive said it was really boring. Okay, but Caitlin gave it 4 stars. Not a lot of people have read it. It was a Booker nominee. Yeah, a bunch of awards. Okay. This is probably. Oh, that's good to know, Jenna. Is this considered historical fiction? Yeah, good. This is dystopian, right? Science fiction. I think this is staying on my want to read shelf. I own this. It's YA science fiction by China Miéville, who I've never read anything by before. Oh, is it a Moby Dick retelling? Yeah, I didn't know that. That's cool. It's a retelling. Sci-fi. Cool. Has anybody else read this? Colonnati is the only one. Interesting. I totally thought this was middle grade, but supposedly not. Kite Runner. This is one I've heard a lot about. I think it's won a bunch of awards. Yeah. Kite Runner is one of your favorites? A lot of people really liked it. My friend Shoshana really liked it too. Oh wow, Rachel also is one of her favorites. I don't think I knew that. Yeah, I think this is, honestly, it's a probably. I want it to stay on my want to read shelf, but realistically, it's a probably, even though I own it. So that does make it a higher probability than other things. I'll put it as a book club option. Please read it. Mostly 5 stars. So many of you guys are saying that's like really heartbreaking and like really good and made you cry. The thing is I have such a hard time picking up books that like I know are going to make me cry. Even though in the end I enjoy reading them, I'm glad that I read them. But like I just have a hard time making myself pick up a book that I know is going to make me cry. But I know this is a really popular book and I will probably be reading it. I don't know, should I put it on want to read? No, it's going to stay on probably for now. Ooh, yes. Saving Fish from Drowning. So at this same library book sale, I bought a bunch of Amy Tan books. I've read one Amy Tan a long time ago when I was in middle school, so at this point like over 20 years ago probably. Maybe not quite that long. But I really loved it. It was Joy Luck Club, and I've been wanting to read more Amy Tan, so I bought a bunch of her books from this library book sale. The question is it a want to read or a probably? Although, why, this is not the edition that I have. I have one of these editions. I'm not usually like a stickler for getting the exact edition on Goodreads. Often, like, I really don't care, but when I actually own the book, I kind of want it to be the one that I'm going to read from. I think this is a want to read. Probably. Does that mean it's a probably? Oh wow, someone I know is actually reading it right now. Oh wow. Multiple people said that they like Amy Tan, but this is a disappointment. The Lovely Bones if it was set in China. Interesting. Yeah, it's gonna stay on my want to read shelf. Oh, ratings. Technically fails my rating test though. Okay, historical fiction, right? Yeah. Cool. All right, we're down to the last 10 minutes. I'll probably just finish these that I have up here and we'll be done. So another one, this is also probably going to stay, not probably, is going to stay on my want to read shelf. Historical fiction, owned TBR. Cool. I don't remember, is that the cover that I have? No, I have this cover. I don't know when I'm going to get through all of these Amy Tan, but I'm very interested in reading them. Do I own this one? I don't think so. I think I should put this on a probably shelf. So this is another book by Jeanette Walls, who wrote The Glass Castle, but this is a like sort of memoir. It's not a memoir because it's not about her, but it's the story of her grandmother. It's supposed to be pretty good. No, so I guess it is. It's not, but it's not an autobiography or a memoir because it's not about her. It's about her grandma. But it is, I guess, nonfiction. Anyways, this is probably. I will mark it as nonfiction. Cool. All right, last book, Inspection. Oh, is this a probably or I want to read? I really haven't heard very many people talking about this. Let's see, who's read it? Okay, Mara gave it 3 stars. Bethany gave it 4. 4, 3. Samantha Leanne gave it 3. I feel like this is a probably. I am pretty interested in it though. Probably or maybe. Probably, maybe. Oh, I'm going to say probably. It's definitely on the high end of probably. Oh, I'm so ridiculous. Why are there so many books I want to read? It's crazy. Yeah. Is it really probably though? I feel like this shouldn't be such a hard question. Probably, maybe. Yeah, probably. All right, let's see where we got to. So when we started today, 2 hours ago, I was at 160, 175, 165. No, 190 something. I think it's like 195. And I wanted to get it under 150. And at the time that this last refreshed, whenever I got rid of the Magician's Apprentice, it was already to 150. So, like, that's awesome. $144. All right. I think next month we're going to be able to get it under 100, which is really exciting. And then after I get this shelf under 100, I haven't quite decided what I want to tackle next. It could either be going through my probably shelf, which has a lot of books on it, and just making sure that those are all books I want to stay on my probably shelf. Or I thought about tackling some of my series shelves. So I have 2 series shelves. I have a series shelves. I have a series shelf of series that I want to start that are, in theory, all completed series. I don't know how accurate that really is. And then I have an unfinished series shelf of series that I'm like at least interested in. I try not to add a series to my unfinished series shelf unless I'm pretty sure I want to read them, but I haven't always been that way. So there are definitely series on here that it's like, oh, I don't want to decide yet, so I'm going to put it on my unfinished series shelf. So there are a ton of unfinished series on here that I either kind of want to read or just like want to wait to decide until more books have come out and like they've been able to rack up more reviews. But the problem is some of those books were added a long time ago, and I'm positive that there are finished series on that shelf. So when it comes to the series shelves, if I want to tackle them, I'm not sure what order to do it in. I kind of think that I would probably start with the unfinished series shelf and kind of clean that up a little bit, like so that I can find series that have been completed and move them to my series shelf. And then if I was to clean up my series shelf, I'm not really sure what I would be doing. I guess if there's series on there that I'm unsure I actually want to read, I might move them to my like TBR maybe shelf. I don't know. I don't really know what I want to do. after I finish going through my want to read shelf. If you guys have anything you're specifically interested in seeing me clean up, let me know, but I'm sure nobody is really that interested. Okay. Well, let's see. Okay. So thank everybody for joining, or I thank you for joining me. Can't talk. It's like 10 o'clock, so I'm tired. But thanks everyone for joining me for this Goodreads organization. I'm glad that you guys enjoy this sort of thing. I mean, I have to organize these shelves myself anyway, so I'm happy to share that with you guys. And if you have any thoughts, like if you're watching this on replay, and if you have any thoughts about any of the books that I mentioned, or if you added any of them to your TBR, definitely let me know down in the comment section. If you have any ideas of what sort of organization related to these shelves that I have that you're interested in seeing next, let me know, because we're almost done cleaning up my want to read shelf, which is crazy to me because that shelf was like way out of control. I think it was over 300 when I started doing these live streams. So yeah, I do one of these once a month, so I will see you guys next month. So have a good evening and bye.